Namaskar. Welcome to this episode of Inspire. I'm going to talk about the man who wrote our national anthem. Yes, I'm talking about the great philosopher, the social reformer, the painter, the writer, and the poet, Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore was born in the year 1861 at Jarasankho in Calcutta. He had a lonely childhood because his mother died very early and he was raised mostly by his servants. After his Upanayana at the age of 11, he travelled with his father to north of India. They went to Amritsar, they went to Shantiniketan and then to the hills of Dalhousie. It was during this time that he read the Gurbani. Debendranath Tagore, his father, was very ambitious and he wanted Rabindranath to be a lawyer. Therefore, he wanted him to study law. Now, he took admission for law in the University College at London. However, after a few months, he left law and started studying instead works of Shakespeare. He returned in 1880 to India without a degree. But what he got with him was the change that he saw in the West. He saw that India at that time was tied in the bonds of caste system, was tied in the bonds of untouchability, child marriage. All this he did not see in the West, and therefore he wanted to bring this change in our country. At 1883, he was married to Mrinalini Devi. At that time, Mrinalini Devi was only 10 years old. They had 5 children, 2 of whom died during infancy. In 1890, Tagore began managing his vast ancestral estates in Shailai Daha. Now, this region was in Bangladesh at that time, and in order to manage this region, he had to cross the Padma River. The setting was so idyllic and it was so much in the lap of nature that it gave Rabindranath the time to meditate, the time to think, the time to write. And he wrote a lot of stories, a lot of poetry during this time. And this period of between 1891 to 1895 is also known as Tagore's Sadhana period. He wrote the three volumes of his book 84 story Galpa Guchha during this period of time. Unfortunately, most of his stories talked about the poverty of this region, talked about the poverty of Bengal. Between the year 1878 and 1932, Tagore had travelled 30 countries and had moved across 5 continents. His fame had reached the other nations because he had got the Nobel Prize for Literature because of his prose composition of Gitanjali. In every country that he went, they offered him some money, and this money was almost $1 lakh. It was this money that he must have used to bring up the colleges and the schools and the institutions that he built across India. Shortly after returning at the age of 32 from his foreign tours, he was invited again by the Peruvian government. He went to Mexico. And such was his travel across the world. We also come to know that Rabindranath Tagore and Swami Vivekananda were contemporaries. Rabindranath was born in 1861 and Swami Vivekananda was born in 1863. Definitely both of them did come across each other because Narendranath Datta, as he was known, Swamiji was known at that time, loved Rabindra Sangeet. And he also took out a book which was known as Sangeet Kalpataru, of which he was a co-editor in the year 1887. It is said that it included 12 Rabindra Sangeet songs, and 2 of the songs Rabindranath himself had taught Swami Vivekananda. Later they met after 12 years, and this meeting was a very cold shoulder meeting, and Sister Nivedita, his Shishya, Swami Vivekananda's Shishya, was also present for this meeting. However, we understand that during later life of Tagore, he started praising Swami Vivekananda, and he said, if you want to know India, study Vivekananda. In him, everything is positive and nothing negative. Tagore was a follower of Romanticism, whereas Swami Vivekananda was a Vedantist. Swami Vivekananda and Tagore both were followers of Brahmo Samaj. But later during their age, Rabindranath Tagore continued to be a part of Brahmo Samaj, whereas Swamiji moved away because he wanted to realize God. And he did realize God in his lifetime. After 1930, Tagore said what Swami Vivekananda said to everyone. In every one of you, there is the power of Brahman. The God in the poor desires you to serve him. He was greatly inspired by the work of RK Mission. Tagore was very much impressed by the mission's work, and Tagore lived for almost more than 80 years. And till the end of his life, he continued to follow what Swamiji had said. And we can see this in the institutions that he built during his lifetime. First, he started the Brahmo Vidyalaya, which had students from only a particular background. Later, this expanded to Brahmachari Vidyalaya, and later this only transferred itself into what is known to us as the Vishwa Bharati Vidyapith, which has students and followers today from all across the world, from all across different continents, people following different religions, people from different faiths today join this university. So it was this great mind of Swami Vivekananda that greatly influenced Tagore in his later life. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Inspire. Do like, share and subscribe this channel. Thank you again.